friends. Today we will learn about artificial classification system and mainly we focus on sexual classification system. Before that we will see overview of plant classification. Plant classification, it is an important pillar of plant taxonomy. So taxonomy, it is the branch which deals with identification, nomenclature and classification of all organisms, or most particularly we will see the identification, nomenclature and classification of plants. So if we want to define taxonomy, taxonomy is an oldest and convenient method to classify and organize the diverse forms of living organisms along with an understanding of evolutionary relationship between them. So the arrangement of plants into groups and subgroups, it is also known as classification. A system of classification is particular way of delimiting and arranging taxonomic groups. In the history of taxonomic botany, numerous systems of classification have been proposed by various scientists to classify the plants. Botanical classification, it have been broadly categorized into three different types. The first classification system, it is artificial classification system. Second, it natural classification system, and third is phylogenetic classification system. In next few videos we will learn about all these classification system. In this particular video we will focus on artificial classification system only. So what is artificial classification system? It is earlier classification system, and this is more or less arbitrary classification. Plants were classified according to convenience, and in these systems scientific accuracy is totally ignored. Plants were classified by taking into consideration one or few characters only, and affinities and relationships of the plants with one another, it is not considered at all. The most important example of this classification system, it is sexual system of classification, which is proposed by Carolus von Linnaeus. Linnaeus was the Swedish biologist, physician and zoologist, and this classification system, it is most accepted classification system. Now we will see another examples of artificial classification system in brief. The first classification system which was artificial, it is the classification system given by Theophrastus. So Theophrastus, he was the student of Aristotle, and he is popularly known as father of botany. He was a Greek botanist and classified plants into four groups: herbs, undershrubs, shrubs and trees on the basis of their habit. So here also he considered only one character, that is habit. So this classification system also known as artificial classification system. Next classification system, it is the classification system given by Andrea Cisalpino. So he was an Italian botanist, and he classified plants on the basis of overall morphology and some fruit and seed characters. And in his work, that is book, namely De Plantis, he classified about 1520 plants and grouped into woody and herbaceous. He was the first botanist to make an herbarium of the plants. Now, third artificial classification system was proposed by John Ray. He was an eminent English naturalist of his time. He first of all classified plants into monocots and dicots, and he wrote two books, Methodus Plantarium and Historia Plantarum, in which he proposed his classification system. Most popular classification system, it is proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. He was a Swedish botanist known as father of taxonomy. Classified plants on the basis of male organs, that is stamens. So his classification system, it is most popularly known as sexual classification system. Now we will see in detail the Linnaeus or sexual classification system. Linnaeus took into consideration the characters like morphological arrangement, length and number of stamens. So he only took into the consideration the stamens, and stamens is a male reproductive organ of the flower. So his classification system, it is known as sexual classification system. He published a book Species Plantarum in 1753 in which he diagnosed nearly 6,000 species belonging to 1,000 genera. It was most important work in the botanical world. This classification system was in use till 19th century. So this was most popular classification system, though it was artificial. Linnaeus was first to use binomial nomenclature. He classified plants on the basis of floral characters into different 24 classes. So he considered floral characters and most particularly the male character, that is stamens, and he classified entire plant kingdom into different 24 classes. First 23 classes are on the flowering plants, and the last 24th class, it includes all cryptogams. Now we will see the classification system, that is sexual classification system given by Linnaeus in detail. Linnaeus classified entire plant kingdom into 24 classes. We will see one by one the different classes given by him. First class, it is class Monandria. When stamens are only one, that is any flower containing only one stamen, they are placed into the class Monandria. Examples are Canna and Salicornia. Class Diandria, when stamens are two, such plants are placed into Diandria. Examples are Olea and Veronica. Third class, it is Triandria, when stamens are only three, and the example it is many grasses. Class Tetrandria, any flower containing four stamens, they are placed into the class Tetrandria. Examples are Protea and Gallium. Pentandria, number of stamens 5. Examples are Ipomea and Campanula. Hexandria, it is the next class in which number of stamens will be 6, and examples of are Narcissus and Lilium. Next class, it is Heptandria, number of stamens will be 7, and the examples are of Trientalis esculus. Next class, it is Octandria, stamens 8, Vaccinium and Dirica. Enandrial, that is stamens are 9, Laurus and Butomus are the examples. Next class is Decandria, number of stamens it is 10, examples of Rhododendron and Oxalis. Dodecandria, stamens, number of stamens will be changed here, that is the range of number of stamens, it will be 11 to 19, and all the plants which contains number of stamens in this range, all they are placed into Dodecandria. Examples are Asarum and Euphorbia. Next class, it is Icosandria. Number of stamens will be 20 or more, and the stamens will come on calyx. Then all such plants, they are having place into the Icosandria. Examples are Opuntia. Next 13 class, it is very similar to Icosandria, but the origin of the stamens, it is on receptacle. Number of stamens will be same, that is 20 or more. The such plants, they are placed into the class 13. Example is Ranunculus. Next class, it is class 14, Diadynamia. Stamens are diadynamous, 2 are small, 2 are large. Then such type of plants, for example many Labiati members including Ocimum, they are placed into this group. Next class, it is Tetradynamia. So number of stamens will be tetradynamous, or 4 are large stamens and 2 are small, and such type of stamens, they are known as tetradynamous. Example of such plants, it is Brassica. Then next class 16th, it is class Monadelphia. So when stamens are monadelphous, this is most important feature of the family Malvaceae, and we can take example of Hibiscus rosa sinensis, China rose. Class Diadelphia, the stamens will be didelphous. So many legumes, including members of uh, Fabaceae family, including Butea, Clitoria, then other Fabaceous members, they contains such type of didelphous stamens, and all they are placed into the class Didelphia. Next class, it is Polydelphia. The stamens are polydelphous, and in this we can take examples of Theobroma, Hypericum. So all such plants are placed in Polydelphia. Next class is Syngenaceae. Stamens are syngenaceous, and this is the example of many composites, or we may call the members of family Asteraceae, including sunflower. Next is Next class, it is Gynandria. Stamens are united to gynoecium. So stamens, they are becoming the part of gynoecium, or they are attached to each other. Then such type of plants, they are placed into Gynandria. For example, orchids. Next is Monocia. So this particular plant or such type of plants contains monoecious flower. Examples are Carex and Morus. Other such type of plants also placed into the class Monocia. Dioecia, it is next class, and in which only dioecious plants have been placed. Examples are Salix and Juniperus. Last and 23rd class of flowering plants, that is Polygamia, when flowers will be polygamous. Such type of all plants, including Acer, Nessa, all they are placed into the group or class Polygamia. So up to this, all are flowering plants. Now the class 24th, it is the class of cryptogams or lower plants. So in this particular group, all non-flowering plants have been placed, including algae, bryophyte, pteridophytes, lichens, and fungus. Examples are Pteris, agaricus, and lichens. So this is entire classification system proposed by the Linnaeus. Now we will learn about what are the merits and demerits of this classification system. So this particular classification system, it has some merits and some demerits. Here should be demerits. So all of you should consider it is not merit, it is demerit. So first of all, we will discuss about merits of artificial classification. This classification system is based on one or few easily observable characters, hence very useful for easy and quick identification of plants. So this particular classification system, it is easy to use classification system. This classification system provides base for modern classification. So other classification system, they are derived from this classification system, or this is fundamental base for the other different types of classification systems. Now we will focus on the demerits of this artificial classification system. As it is based on very limited characters, closely related plants have been placed in widely distinct groups, and quite different plants have been placed in the same groups. So Linnaeus considered only stamens for the purpose of classification, or only floral characters. So in this classification system, closely related plants, they are placed far away from each other, and very distinct plants, they are kept very in very similar groups. Next is affinities, and the relationships among the taxa have not been considered. There is no distinction between the dicotyledons and monocotyledons, and have been mixed up and put together. So this is again very important demerit of this particular classification system. The position of the gymnosperms in the class Didynamia is most unsatisfactory. So here gymnosperms, they are placed into Didynamia. It is most unsatisfactory. So all these are the demerits of this classification system, and all are the merits of the classification system. So in this particular video, we have been learned about the artificial classification system, and we focused on sexual classification system, which was given by Linnaeus. So in further videos, we will focus on the other classification system, including the natural and phylogenetic classification systems. Thank you.